Yes, good evening. Good evening. So welcome to this session on geography optional. Uh, Myself, MD Rizwan. I am faculty for optional geography and general studies at Vajiram Ravi, and with me, my colleague Shivar Pisar. He is also teaching geography optional and GS. So we are the team of faculties. Myself, I'll be taking some of the segments of optional, part of optional. Sir will be taking one part, that is, he will be taking most of the part of paper 2. I'll be taking most of the part of paper 1. And Vaishali ma'am, she will be taking some of the areas of biogeography and environmental geography. So overall, there are 3 teachers who will be covering geography optional subject. So today's session is about what can be the strategy and roadmap for covering geography as an optional subject. This session will help the students who have decided about geography as an optional in 2026, or you are preparing for coming years, that is 2027. This will give you some of the idea that how to approach the subject and what can be certain things, certain mistakes that you need to avoid during the preparation for geography as an optional. Because when you study optional subject, first you should keep in mind that optional preparation is not same as your GS, and every optional has to be dealt in a different manner. If you are preparing for geography, geography requires a different approach. If you are preparing for history, anthropology, sociology, every subject will have its own way or own method of preparation. So in today's session, my intention is to give you some idea about how you can really approach the subject and how you can make geography as an scoring optional. Because when you select an optional, the intention of selection is not to become expert in that optional. Here your intention is not to become expert in geography. Rather, geography should help you to get the score which can further facilitate you to crack this exam. As most of you are aware that why you should study, or what is the importance of optional subject in our UPSC preparation, because the score in optional is going to determine your final selection, as there will be, if optional is consistent, then you will be able to get the good result, or you will be able to you will have certainty about the final outcome in this exam. Okay, so here there are some PowerPoints that I have prepared. So first we'll go through these PowerPoints, and then later on we'll have some question and answer session where it will be open to you to ask you if you are having any doubt related to the preparation of the optional subject, right? So to begin with, so in today's session, we are going to discuss overall why we should look at geography as an optional subject, what will be the strategy and roadmap, then what are the key challenges, how to go for notes and notes making and answer writing, what are the common mistakes, and what can be the scoring tips, or you can say what can be how we can score in geography as a subject. Now, next is essay. So first understand that as an optional, geography has undergone a change. When you look at the years, so before 2010, the nature of exam or nature of paper in optional was different. between 2010 to 2018, we see the different pattern of questions in geography. And after 2019, like last 6 7 years, you can see that again the pattern of subject or pattern of the question have changed. As the pattern of question is changing, then your approach towards the subject also has to change. They say how the students used to prepare before 2010, the approach was more or less factual, in the sense that because before 2010 optional geography was also a part of your prelims. So that time there was one optional subject to be opted in prelims exam, and their students used to opt geography as an optional in prelims also, and it was one of the optional in mains. In that scenario, the issue is, or the approach was, it was more or less factual. Then UPSC shifted from 2010 to 2018. You find that the questions have become more or less conceptual. Means it was more focusing on understanding or getting a conceptual clarity and understanding the processes and phenomena in geography. And after 2019, we see a change that the geography as a subject and the question, they are centered around like real world situation, they are centered around current affairs, and more it is becoming applied, right? In the sense that as a geographer, when you study anything, this has to be useful for human society. This is the emerging perspective of geography. This is known as anthropocentric approach of the subject. What is anthropocentricism in geography is nothing but where whatever you study, that has to be useful to the society, that should help in solving the problems of the society. So this is the new trend we see across the discipline also, and this is there in general academics, and this is also a shifting pattern what we see in UPSC preparation. So for example, you are studying about climatology, then what you will do out of this climatology, you should be able to apply it to the phenomenon of climate change. You should be able to link it with whatever is happening in our conventions and protocol. Just say you are studying about United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Now in this, when you study this convention, you should be able to link with your static syllabus, right? So that is, we are, the present aspect of geography is, it is becoming more and more applied. Now in terms of pattern, if you are examining what has really changed, see the nature of question, the nature of questions that are asked. Previously the number of questions were less. Old pattern में अगर देखेंगे, number of questions the student has to answer were less. The number of words the students are required to write in the exam are also less. What UPSC has done after 2013, how the pattern of the question is changing. Jैसे now we are having 10 marker, you are having 15 marker, you are having 20 marker. We don't have a question that is 30, 40 or 60 marker. पहले 30 marker भी होता था, 60 marker भी होता था, and more or less the number of marks allocated into 10, that was the word limit of the answer, right? So suppose it is a 60 marker question, means you have to write 600 word. If it is 30 mark, means you have to write 300 word. Now when you are writing 10 marker, it is marks allocated into 10 plus 50, in the sense that for 10 marker you are going to write 150 words, for 20 marker you are going to write 250 words, for let us say for 15 marker you are going to write 200 words. Means in every question you are going to write additional 50 words, in the sense that for 250 marks you are writing around 3000 words, right? So total number of question, listen to me this part, this is very important. Total number of questions that are there in your exam, you what you need to attempt has increased. Lekin time limit is same, 3 hours, right? And marks allocated has decreased to 50 marks, है ना? तो इस तरह से, तो here just understand, don't worry about this slide. So here just listen to me. यहाँ पर क्या हुआ है, total number of questions what you are attempting has increased, total number of words that you are going to write, that also has increased. And managing this is the new challenge for a student in exam hall. एक challenge है studying the subject, and second challenge is completing the paper, right? These are the two things that you are going to deal in the present pattern, right? So what should be our approach? When you look at approach, here we are looking at three things in our preparation of optional. So 3S will say, I'll refer it as 3S framework. First is syllabus, second is the strategy, and the third is having a systematic approach, right? So three things are there. So first is awareness about the syllabus. So as you are aware that the syllabus of optional consists of two paper, that is paper 1, it is about principles of geography, 10 chapters, and paper 2, again it is Indian geography, that has again 10 chapters. Okay. So first is thorough reading of the syllabus. Strategy is how you should be able to prepare this syllabus, in the sense that classes plus what is your self preparation. Two things. Strategy includes two. It includes self preparation. Class to hai. Class anyway you are attending. Class plus your self preparation. This integration is required in order to reach that level. And third is how systematically you are preparing. How systematic, in the sense that there should be some sequence in your preparation. Just say first is, here I have written, first is read the subject, then make notes, then draw diagrams, and then go for the previous year question paper. You cannot directly jump into previous year question paper. So there are certain steps in doing, and after this you have to go for answer writing practice and then revision of the subject, right? So this will be the sequence. If you are following this systematic approach, then you will be able to complete the optional in a proper manner. Okay. Now how we look at this S of syllabus. So how to tackle the syllabus? So first is prioritize. So I have given here six-step approach for this. First is prioritizing. Now what do you mean by prioritizing? You have to go through the recent trends of the questions, and based on the recent trends you have to identify what are the important topics where you need to focus. So for example, if you are studying geomorphology, and geomorphology consists of some 20 topics, right? Should a student read every topic with the same intensity? Answer is no. There will be some topics which demands more attention, which are more fetching, which are more asked in exam. That is why you have to first define your own syllabus by prioritizing the topic. You have to segregate what are important, what are less important, right? And how much you have to read. So just say one example is, suppose you are reading about, in geomorphology you are reading about continental drift theory by Alfred Wegener. तो जब आप ये theory पढ़ेंगे, you find it very interesting and you will get lot of material also, and it is easily available in all the standards books of geography. आपको NCERT में रहेगा, it is there in your class notes also, it will be there in your physical geography by Savinder Singh, or you take any text of physical geography, there will be a topic of continental drift by Alfred Wegener. But the issue is how much it is important for us. If you see the present trends of the questions, matlab last 10 years if you are seeing, you will find that the question is not more than 10 marks. In the sense that if the students are, if you are reading this continental drift to, and you become expert in continental drift, and let us say you are having 1000 words of information, then also finally you are going to write only 100 to 150 words. Then what is the point in wasting time? तो जो आपको क्लास में दिया गया है, that will be sufficient for this topic. But when you study the topic like in geomorphology, topic like erosion surfaces. Now when you study erosion surface, what the student feel is that erosion surface थोड़ा कंटेंट इजीली मिलता नहीं है, राइट, एंड सेकंड इज they find it difficult, but it is asked more in exam. So importance of this topic is more. That is why you have to take efforts in the topic like erosion surface and less efforts in continental drift. I have just given example. In this way, in every chapter there will be the topics which are important and which are less important. That is, we have to prioritize here. Second step is you have to review the syllabus. Read word by word. Every word in the syllabus is important. Every word is one topic. Okay? Third one is identify weightage. As I told you that how much is the possible question, what way the question can be asked. तो अभी तो थोड़ा आसान है because the maximum word or maximum marks allocated is only 20, right? So you have to find out इसमें कितना scope है, क्या इसमें 10 marker आ सकता है या 15 mark और 20 mark. That is identifying weightage. Then referring standard books that we will be giving you the list. Then analyze the previous year question papers. So again, I will suggest here for the students who are appearing for 26, 27, 28, you should go for the questions generally after 2016 onwards. मतलब consider last 10 years, 8 to 10 years. Don't study the questions of like 20 years back. Question तो मिल जाएंगे, but the pattern of the question is something different then, right? So 10 years will be sufficient here. ठीक है? And last is logical sequencing. See, generally if you look at the syllabus is not arranged in a proper way, right? So look at geomorphology or climatology, you don't find the topics that are in a sequence. So you have to connect from one topic to other. Just say for example, you are studying climatology. So how will approach climatology? First is insolation. Insolation के बाद आएगा temperature, then you have pressure, then you have wind, then you have rainfall, humidity, then you have cloud, then you have rainfall. So this will become one sequence of studying the topic. That is logical connect you have to identify in these topics. Now, when you look at the stages of preparation, how are the stages of preparation of the optional, right? So first stage is, that is basic concept, right? So this is for the student who are starting now. तो आप foundation कैसे build करेंगे? Foundation is your GS part, right? One advantage with the geography is that it has overlap with your GS. Whatever you are studying in your GS, that will be physical geography particularly and Indian physical geography. So geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, anyway you are studying in GS, that will be your foundation. Books, if you are asking me, there will be two things, NCERT and GC Leong, right? Before attending the classes, before starting your optional preparation, you have to at least go through these books, that is NCERT class 11, 12, GC Leong, and get acquainted with the atlas. Be friendly with atlas. I am not saying that you should be becoming master and perfect in atlas, but you should have sufficient idea कौन सा map कहाँ है, किस तरह का representation है. This you should be aware, right? So this is your basic. Once you have done your NCERT and GC Leong, then after that is establish interlinkages in the syllabus. Interlinkage in the sense, try to get the topics together which are overlapping with each other. Just for example, you know physiography, after that is topography or relief you are knowing, then climatic condition, then soil, then vegetation. This is something like layer by layer you are overlapping, that is known as interlinkages, right? Then we say the fourth stage is develop a language of the subject, right? What is language of the subject? Collect the terms. Every subject has its own language. You have to collect the terminology. जब आप geography में लिखोगे, for geography, you should be writing like a geographer. It is expected that the answer of geography optional should appear like optional answer, they should not appear like GS, right? For that, terminology will be important. And the last is collecting the data, right? Collecting data. Now collecting data, this will, data part is more important for your paper 2, right? So in paper 2, as sir will also will explain you, paper 2 may you will have topic like agriculture, या फिर it is industries or it is transportation. This requires lot of current data or current information. तो इसमें data mapping is very important. ठीक है? Now, what are the 7 key dimensions about your preparation? What you have to actually do when you are preparing for geography optional as a subject? First is you are managing the length of the syllabus. जैसे the fear among the student is geography is a lengthy subject, right? Everyone with this fear, if you opt for optional also, you are with this fear. तो पहले आपको ये कोशिश करनी होगी, as far as possible I should be able to comprehend the subject, right? It is lengthy. Why it is lengthy? Because everything is mentioned in detail. That is why it is appearing lengthy, right? So my understanding of subject, being as a teacher for last 22 to 25 years I have been teaching, तो इसमें ये समझ में आता है कि lengthy aspect of subject is because every chapter has a detailed we can say representation of the topic. Nothing is like hidden. So when you say climatology, everything about climatology is there, right? ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है जिसमें उन्होंने कुछ hide किया हो, right? There is nothing like hidden topic. Rather, there is repetition of many topics from one chapter to other. So आपको ये करना है, ऐसे टॉपिक को आइडेंटिफाई करके क्लब करना है together, so that the length of the subject is reduced. It is getting we can say practically viable. Second issue is how to make scoring. You are studying the subject, but ultimate objective is that we should be able to score, right? Again, I started our session with this point only. Our intention is not to become perfect in geography. Our intention is not to master geography. Our intention is to score more than 280, 300, right? Whatever possible. तो इसमें एक step by step approach होगा. So when the student is preparing, you are doing it with the class or your self preparation, always your focus should be on that how I can score. और ये जब आपके माइंड में होगा, when you are preparing a topic, then you will be preparing in a proper manner. Otherwise your preparation will become random. Next is tackling resources. The problem with most of the humanities subject will be that abundance of the resource, both offline resources and online resources. If you search any topic of geography, history, sociology, any public administration on net, you will get multiple we can say resources. इनको manage करना difficult है. So what we will do is, here we will try to minimize our resources. Look at few standard books. That will tell you how to do. Then is issue of answer writing. Then fifth one, the most important thing about optional preparation will be you need to develop interest in the subject, right? There are two things here. One, you take the subject because you are interested in geography. My experience is this, जो बच्चे geography लेते हैं तो उनका maximum 90% students they take because they find themselves interested in the subject. But the issue is you have opted optional because of interest, but you have to keep that interest alive throughout the preparation of geography as an optional. ऐसा नहीं कि interest should be there only in physical geography. So I found, my experience is this, that section A, when it is going on, the students they say that geomorphology, climatology, oh very good, climatology बहुत अच्छा है, oceanography, because it is soothing to your mind, because you are repeating the things. Something you have learned in GS, the same you are learning in your optional also. That is why you feel that चलो इसमें interest आ रहा है. but you have to equally have interest in human geography. When you read perspective, when you read models and theories, it should be interesting. You have to develop the interest. And how you will be able to develop interest? They say how you develop a interest in an individual. जैसे आपका कोई friend है and you are interested in that person, in the sense that you know him, right? You know him well. And how you know him? Because you have interacted with him. That is how we should interact with subject. जितना आप इससे interact करोगे उतना interest develop होगा. The curiosity should be there, that why, how, where, right? So geographer is with a logical mind, right? So that is another thing. Next is mapping part. Mapping, that is important in paper 2, that will tell. And the very important thing about geography is tackling geographical thought, right? This is chapter number 6 of paper 1, and there is no other way. If you are studying any optional for that matter, you have to read about thought of that particular optional. तो ऐसा मत सोचिए कि सिर्फ ज्योग्राफी में थॉट है. rather in geography the thought is very limited, right? Because most of the literature is of modern geography only. We are not going in detail, and geography, UPSC is not asking you how were the ancient thought in geography, what were the contributors. They never ask you directly about a Greek geographer or Roman geographer or something like that. Generally they ask you modern geography, that is after 17th or 18th century, right? So that you have to tackle. So that again we will be discussing in the classes how to do this. Now, what are the key challenges that you will experience in our preparation? 4 or 5 things here. First is how we can manage the syllabus. Second is how to practice diagrams and map. Third challenge is how to structure the answer. Fourth issue is how we can integrate the current affairs. And the last is how to tackle the questions that are particularly models and theory. Here I mean that how to tackle the questions of section B, that is human geography, right? How to, so because see, when you are preparing for section A, the approach of section A is different, approach of section B will be different. So these are the key challenges that we have to address in our preparation, right? So any student who is preparing for an optional, he should be able to address these issues, right? Now so there will be 3 C that we should look at. First one is getting conceptual clarity. First C about your preparation is conceptual clarity. You have to understand the topic. You have to understand the topic. Do not run for mugging up of information, right? This is a big mistake in geography optional. You cannot prepare optional by mnemonics. You cannot prepare optional by rectification. कुछ जगह पर ये apply हो सकता है in paper 2 and all, but 80% of the syllabus you have to have a conceptual clarity here. You should understand the subject, right? Second is correlation. Now correlation in the sense how you can link from one topic to other. I'll say how you can link from one chapter to other chapter, and how you can link from one paper to other paper. जैसे how you can establish a link from paper 1 to paper 2. जैसे take example, if you are studying population and settlement geography in paper 1, same will be there in cultural setting and settlements in paper 2. If you are read about demographic transition model in paper 1, how you can apply demographic transition model for population of India in paper 2. If you have studied urban morphology in paper 1, how you can apply that for the study of cities and urban areas in paper 2, right? So this is known as correlation, right? Integration of geography, topic integration, chapter integration, and paper integration. So you should not compartment, and obviously this is happening over a period. And third is comprehension in the sense that how you can, so what are the key actions here? Comprehension का मतलब ये है that you should be able to make it concise. This will happen if you are able to have a proper language of the subject, right? See, geography should not be treated like flowery language. इसमें क्या है, you have to write less but should have more, it should be more meaningful. ठीक है? So just I give example, जैसे you are writing about formation of a front, right? What is front? Uh, Front is an abstract boundary created by convergence of the contrasting air masses. Now, this is one statement. Abstract boundary created by a convergence of a contrasting air masses. अब ये language of geography है, इसको आप dilute करके भी लिख सकते हैं. You can write one paragraph on this. What you can write? There is a difference in temperature between the two air masses and they are traveling towards each other and they are trying to merge, and when they try to merge they will not be easily mixing, and this is going to result in one boundary like structure, and this is known as what? This is known as a front. ये एक पैराग्राफ बना है, एक सेंटेंस का आपने पैराग्राफ बनाया है, but what is appreciated is how you are going to reduce the number of word and make it more meaningful. That is known as comprehending the subject. This will help you to write less and convey more, right? So that is number 3. So 3 things, that is concept, correlation and comprehension will be required. तो अगर आप prepare कर रहे हैं, how it will be, जैसे our approach is that 5 months of classes, right? Even if you are preparing by self study, your entire optional should be completed in 6 to 7 months. After that, you should do 3 to 4 months that you should spend on test series and all that. Generally, that students will be doing after the prelims exam. They say before prelims, when you are doing the classes, when you are attending the classes duration is 5 months plus 2 months of your self preparation. This is total 7 months you require to complete the subject. उसके बाद और 2-3 महीने जब आप prelims दे देंगे, and there is a gap between prelims and mains, that 3 months should be utilized for answer writing practice, right? So if I want to classify the phases of preparation, first phase will be building foundation that you are doing by your NCERT and basic books. After that, the core preparation, which will go by your standard books. They say you have read NCERT 11th class. After that, what you are reading? Physical geography by Saminder Singh, right? You have read NCERT human geography. What you are reading after that? You are reading human geography by Majid Hussain sir, या फिर geographical thought by Majid Hussain sir. So that will be the second phase. Third is advanced stage. Advanced stage में you should go for value addition. जो कुछ आपने पढ़ा है उसको refine करेंगे और consolidate करेंगे in the next stage, right? So जैसे after attending the class, you have class notes, you have handouts, you are having a standard reference book. The next step will be to consolidate all these and prepare some synoptic notes. This is advanced, and the fourth one will be your revision, right? So this will be the 4 phases. First is building foundation, second is core subject, that is standard book, third is advanced is about consolidation and preparing the synoptic notes, right? Look at me here, don't worry about this overlap on PPT. And next one is revision and consolidating the entire subject, establishing a interlinkages. These are some recommended books that will be giving you as a handout also. Now, 3 things we should be focusing on, 3 things we are focusing on when we prepare for optional. 3R will say, right? Pehla hai revision, right? No revision, there will not be any scoring in the subject, right? You have to revise it multiple time. You should have a preparation like weekly fortnightly, monthly, in that way that you should be revising. I'll give you about the basic books, don't worry. फर्स्ट इज रिवीजन. दूसरा आपको ये देखना है, इफ यू आर रिवाइजिंग, आर is it that I am able to retain it? How you will check with the retention? That if suppose you have read about Daviesian concept of landscape development in geomorphology, तो आप ये चेक करना है, you have read, revised and understood. Next, whether you have retained it or not. How it will be? You close the book and try to recall that information. That is known as retention, right? तो अगर आपको याद नहीं आ रहा है, it means that you need one more or two more revision. You have to go back. पहला revise करिए, check for retention. If it is not retained, again go back and revise. तब तक आपको रिवाइज करना है जब तक ये आपके थॉट में रिटेन हो नहीं रहा है, राइट? Then only the information will flow smoothly. And the third thing is representation, right? In geography, it is very important. As I keep on saying, geography is 50:50. What is meaning of this? Other humanities are not like that. Our other humanities are like 70:30 or 80:20, like this. Here 50:50. 150 is about what a student knows, and second 50% weightage is what he writes, right? If you are good at writing, if you are good at representing the things, even though आपके पास थोड़ा सा information हल्का भी है, तब भी आप ज्योग्राफी में स्कोर कर पाएंगे on the basis of what? Representation. So representation has a equal weightage in geography as a subject, right? So three steps we'll look at: revision, retention and representation. And obviously representation will be through what? Practice. ये directly नहीं आएगा, this is the later part, ठीक? Now when we prepare, our agenda is one book and one topic, or here I have written one notebook, in the sense here the intention is one book, one topic, right? तो आपको generally इस formula में follow करना है that if I am reading, let us take example, if I am reading a tropical cyclone, where I should read it from? I should read it from the best source available. What is the best source? It is Physical Geography by Sabinder Singh, right? इसके बाद आप कुछ follow नहीं करेंगे for that. Suppose I am reading about quantitative revolution in human geography. What should be the best source? It should be Geographical Thought by Majid Hussain sir. So this will be our agenda. So when you make notes, how you are going to see? Making notes in geography is not duplicating whatever you find, right? Notes making has to be done with certain sense of the subject. So generally what the students is, when they open the book, they start just copying whatever they get. That is not a notes preparation. Don't think that notes is just clubbing all the information. Notes should be, first thing, it is structure. Topic wise structure should be there. Second, you can make it like a column format. Column format in the sense that you can divide the paper into two parts and write like one topic and second topic. It should be more concise. You can use colors when obviously when you are making notes, you can use coloring during exam में नहीं काम आएगा ये, but when you read it will be like easy for you to, if you are using a colors, right? Diagram, try to make your own diagrams wherever possible, ठीक है? So standard diagrams are there, but try to make your own diagram. Be little bit innovative here. Current affairs linkages has to be there, and it should be revision friendly. Revision friendly in the sense you should have appropriate spacing and all. तो जब आप next time पढ़ोगे तो आपको ये लगना चाहिए कि हाँ ये देखने से ये टॉपिक याद आ रहा है, ठीक है? It should create a image in your mind. Thought process में एक image बनना चाहिए कि ये notes और ये टॉपिक इस तरह से visualize हुआ है on my notebook, right? So that is how we are looking at notes making. So this I have done already, how to improve. Now, what are the common mistakes? This is very important slide. What are the common mistakes that you should avoid? You should, generally students commit here. First issue is reading too many books, right? Try to restrict, because यहाँ पर issue है, there are many resources available. So first, रीडिंग टू मेनी बुक्स, ये बहुत बड़ा मिस्टेक है. अगर ऐसे करते जाओगे, you will not be able to complete the syllabus within the time limit, right? You may get additional information, I am not against that, but if you keep on getting more and more information, what will happen? Your coverage of the syllabus will slow down, and instead of covering, जैसे मान लो how many topics are there in optional? 20 chapters hai. On an average, if I consider 20 topics, so you are having 400, 350 to 400 topics in your entire optional. 350 मान लो, 350 topics are there in entire optional, and 350 topics have to be completed in 6 months. Means you have to complete it in 180 days. So on an average, you are completing what? 2 topics per day, right? If you follow more number of books, you will be able to complete one topic in 3 days. If this pace is there, when you will be able to complete the syllabus? It will take 1 or 2 years to complete the syllabus itself. Most of the students are stuck up. उनका geomorphology ही complete नहीं हो रहा है, right? The issue is the chapter, so that is getting imbalance. You are studying geomorphology for 2 months, climatology for another 2-3 months. If you go like this, you will never be able to complete the syllabus. Satisfaction क्या है? You are thinking that I am becoming perfect in that chapter. You become master of geomorphology, right? You make it perfect. लेकिन कितने marks का आएगा? It will be only 30 to 35 marks, not more than that. That is why you should have a balanced approach in preparing the entire syllabus. Equal level you should be looking at, right? Second issue is ignoring diagrams. Most of the students have this hesitation. I will not draw. तो अगर आप draw नहीं करोगे, then you are not getting that additional edge. Because diagram is a language of the subject, maps and diagrams are language of the subject. एग्जामिनर को आपसे ये एक्सपेक्टेशन है कि आप ज्यादातर डायग्राम ड्रॉ करें, राइट? More you draw the diagrams and map, it starts appearing as if you are a geographer. A geographer has written this answer. ठीक है? So you should get out of that mental block here. Next is students think that I will not integrate with current affairs. मतलब the issue is they read current affairs but they don't link it with geography syllabus, right? So sir will be telling you more in paper 2 you need to do this. Just you are studying agriculture chapter. In agriculture chapter there is lot of government's policy related to agriculture that you need to link, integration. I am not denying you are studying current affairs, but the problem is you don't bring that topic and link right in your optional subject. That you have to again overcome. Next, many students have this problem. What is that? They want to skip chapter number 6, perspective. उनको लगता है कि perspective नहीं करेंगे तब भी काम चल जाएगा. काम चल सकता है in terms of marks, but if you are not doing perspective, your quality of answers in paper 1 section B is low, right? Because perspective is the core of human geography. आप अगर thought समझते नहीं है कोई subject का, it will not give you edge, right? So you have to do the thought. Any optional you have to do the thought. अगर public ad prepare कर रहे हो तो administrative thinker पढ़ना है, political science में political thinker पढ़ना है, right? Sociology में social thinker पढ़ना है. Similarly, when you read geography, you have to do geographical thought. There is no other way. Perspective has to be done, right? So keep this in mind. And then is poor time management. Poor time management, I have been repeating that you are doing the topic for the time, more time than it is required. They say how it will be that you are reading Continental Drift by Alfred Wegener for 4 days. Is it justifying our preparation? नहीं, ये इसको तो आपने 2 घंटे में खत्म करना है, right? Because its weightage is only what, 10 mark, right? But if you are reading it for 4 days also, you will get a satisfaction, but your preparation is lengthened unnecessarily and it is delayed. ठीक है? So this poor time management that you have to, and vague and generic answer. तो you cannot be very casual in optional, है ना? आप ये सोच के चलेंगे कुछ तो लिख देंगे, मैनेज हो जाएगा, देख लेंगे, देखा जाएगा. If you have this type of approach, vague and generic in the sense that आपको एक क्वेश्चन में कुछ नोन वर्ड मिला एंड वो हिसाब से आपने उसको लिखना शुरू कर दिया विदाउट स्ट्रक्चरिंग, राइट, इन अ वेरी जनरल वे, like you are writing in GS, you are writing in optional. This is not going to fetch you marks. So these are the 6 important things that you should be looking at. Vague का मतलब है आप यहाँ पर specific नहीं हो रहे, you are not having a conscious approach towards that particular topic. Neither you are taking efforts to include case studies, एग्जाम्पल्स, डायग्राम्स, राइट. आपको लग रहा है कि कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन यहाँ लिख देंगे एंड फ्रॉम दैट यू विल बी एबल टू गेट मार्क्स. यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू गेट द मार्क्स विद दैट. ठीक है? नाउ so this is just I have summarized whatever we have covered. So this is what I want to convey, right? Now some students are asking about the books. तो इसमें books में I'll tell you orally how what we have to do. See, for paper 1 section A, you can note for, see, you are doing how is your basic reading. Basic reading is 11th and 12th class NCERT plus GC Leong plus Atlas. 3 sources you are having as your foundation. ठीक है? NCERT 11-12, certificate in physical geography by GC Leong, and also Atlas. Atlas, I think, which Atlas?
If you can find Study Today publications Atlas.
Study Today publication, that Atlas is good as far as for paper 2. And you can go with whatever one Atlas you are following in GS. Study Today, this publication Atlas, and you can also जो GS में आप फॉलो करें ऑक्सफोर्ड स्टूडेंट एटलस, दैट यू कैन कंटिन्यू, देयर इज नो इशू. अब बात करेंगे पेपर 1 में. पेपर 1 सेक्शन ए, you are referring 2 books. Physical Geography by Savinder Singh. Physical Geography by Savinder Singh. Second is Rupa publication, Geography Made Simple. Geography Made Simple, Volume 1. Right? This you are doing along with what? Class notes and handout. If you are not doing class notes and hand, अब देखो इसमें दिक्कत ये है, for every chapter there are different books. Geomorphology one book is there, climatology one book is there, but the best is this: 2 books will be covering nearly 90% of the syllabus of section A, first 5 chapter. Section B of paper 1, you are referring 3 books along with the class notes. One is Geographical Thought by Majid Hussain sir. Geographical Thought by Majid sir. Then number 2 is Human Geography by Majid Hussain sir. Human Geography by Majid Hussain sir. And Regional Planning by R.P. Mishra. Regional Planning by R.P. Mishra. And in addition to this, तो जो आपने सेक्शन ए में वॉल्यूम 1 रेफर किया है, दैट इज मेड सिंपल, देयर इज सोशल एंड इकोनॉमिक ज्योग्राफी वॉल्यूम 2. social and economic geography volume, that is made simple series volume 2. तो इसमें जो book I have recommended here, Regional Planning by R.P. Mishra. This is very thick book, more than 1000 pages are there. तो इसमें से आपको बहुत selective पढ़ना है, that I'll tell you in class. You have to read just like 50-60 pages from this book, and it is better to get it when I'll give you Xerox of this in the class also, like how many pages you need to read. You need not buy the entire book here. Too bulky for if you see the benefit, cost and benefit here. तो ये इशू है. अब पेपर 2 में
D.R. Khuller, the only book that we are referring to is D.R. Khuller, and this book is not to be read cover to cover. We have to be very selective in reading this book. Again, very lengthy book, but the information is available, and we'll be selective here. Taken D.R. Khuller.
Right, and obviously all these books what we have suggested, this is along with our class notes and handouts, right? And following the strategy, we will be consolidating this and preparing a synoptic notes and all that I will teach you in the class. Now, Faisal Khan is asking that when I look at previous year question paper of geography optional, it appears much as economy and polity other than geographical concept and boundary. See, there are questions that are overlapping in GS. ये issue आप जो बता रहे हैं फैसल खान, this is there in generally paper 2. But when you see the questions of paper 1 में questions are very much linked with physical and human geography. Paper 2 में you are obviously getting questions because in paper 2 only one chapter that is there, physical setting of India, and second chapter is resources that are pertaining to core geography. Remaining you find that it is more human and economic geography. तो इस तरह का issue होगा. But see, questions are like economy or polity, but answer you should not write like GS, है ना? Answer तो हम उसी तरह लिखेंगे by referring concepts what we have studied in paper 1, right? So that is how you should be able to make a difference in your answers in the optional. ठीक है? Now we are open to questions whatever you are having, both online students, offline, and also on YouTube. So you can obviously ask. See, in slides I have given you just a brief idea about how the things are, but we know that you may be facing some issues.
You're from Flightlib. Okay.
Achha.
So I have to take a notes from class 11, 12 book or
You already have the basics done, I guess.
yeah. No, right now there's 6 to 7 classes taken from the.
Rajiv just joined the fledgling batch. In that case, the book that is given to you, the orange colored book,
Yes, sir.
that is okay to read. Otherwise, as sir told you, GC Leong and NCRT, they are the best sources.
Yes, any students who are self-preparing also, for them, you go with what I have suggested. Start with NCRT and GC Leong, right? As the batch will begin on 22nd of April, right? This batch is, the duration of the batch is 5 to 5.5 months, that you are aware. And now what we will provide generally with the classes, जैसे 5 to 5.5 months of classes, 2.5 hours daily, 6 days, some week 6 days, some week it will be 5 days also, some week it will be 6 days also. It depends on the availability of the teachers. As I told you, 3 teachers will be dealing with the optional subject. I'll be covering most of the part of paper 1. Shivarbit sir, he will be covering most of the part of paper 2, and Vaishali ma'am, she will be covering the topics that are pertaining to ecology and environment and some contemporary issue. Muhammad Wasim, he is saying that analyze last 3 years previous year question paper, found that questions are interlinking different topic. Yes. So as I earlier also told, there is a change in pattern. You find more interlinked topics that are asked in the present UPSC questions and question papers. Ashish Kaushik is asking, should I read topic wise taught to us or whole book in one go? See, when you are reading foundation, जो NCRT है, NCRT you read all the chapters. There is no issue. Particularly that book, Fundamentals of Physical Geography and India Physical Environment. ये दो NCRT आप thoroughly पढ़ लीजिए. In GC Leong, I will recommend you read chapter number 12 onwards to 22. 12 to 22, be thorough with this. These are the topics that are pertaining to climatology. बाकी जगह पर आप थोड़ा सा selectively चल सकते हैं. In standard books, you are going to read according to syllabus. You are not reading everything in physical geography by GC Leong और माजिद सर की जितने भी किताबें हैं, उसमें आप syllabus wise पढ़ेंगे. You are not reading everything cover to cover.
Tejaswin, that is not the right platform to ask these questions. For
He
GS
is
classes,
doubt clearing session for GS class.
that is answered in the class itself, I guess.
GS you can obviously after the class you can approach teacher, or you are having access to the portal. You can raise your doubt queries on the portal also.
Tosif, I guess in the month of July we'll have the next batch. We're not very much sure, and the administration will confirm that.
Abhinav Bhattacharya is asking, if you take geography optional, I will read geography after 10th or no issue. See, when you are opting for optional or GS, अगर आप थोड़ा बहुत समझते हैं and थोड़ा बहुत logical है, you can read 11th and 12th class and GC Leong. That will be sufficient.
Moreover, most of the students who read GS, polity and other things, history, most of the science students, they are doing it after class 10th itself.
Kiranmay is asking, what is the right time to start preparation for 2027? See, the thing is, don't think that 27 is too far. अब 26 तो आपका अभी prelims हो रहा है, you are going to that is prelims question now, prelims exam now. After that you are left with only 12 months time. Early you do your optional, more time you get to make a value addition and consolidate subject, right? More early you finish, it will be more better. Always, any optional. Don't drag it too much.
Moreover, if you are doing the option early, whatever option you are selecting, then in that case, by the month of November, when you people are focusing on test series, then in that case, you'll be free from the optional subject or the optional classes. So it's better that you start early.
Arshi Srivastava is asking that those who are having geography as a graduation subject, is it advisable to join coaching or self-study? See, if you are done geography in your graduation, you can go with the self-study also. But only thing is, see that the way you are preparing in your academic is slightly different than what you are going to appear or prepare in your UPSC. तो थोड़ा फर्क रहेगा इसमें. If you are able to tackle those issues, जैसे intensity, what you have studied in 3 years, you have to complete in 5 months in this case. So space of preparation, structuring, answer writing, if you are able to tackle all these things, you can do it self. That should not be an issue. But coaching will be providing you a structured approach, and it will be helping you to complete the syllabus in a time bound manner. मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग अबाउट द कोचिंग इज आप 5 महीने में सारा सिलेबस कंप्लीट कर पाएंगे, विच इज डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू व्हेन यू आर डूइंग इट बाय सेल्फ. तो सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन उतना जनरली नहीं हो पाता है. अवर एक्सपीरियंस इज दिस ओनली विद द स्टूडेंट्स हु हैव done the subject by self mode. Optional batch start for 2026. You can see whether you are a 26 student or 27 or 28. You can join any of this batch. There is no restriction as such.
Mohammed, Tausif, it depends basically on a workload. If you are joining a PSU right now, in that case, first look at the workload, whether you will be able to manage it for 2027. That is well and good. Otherwise, you go for 2028. Faisal Khan, first the idea is you get the hold of the syllabus, then you start reading the topics. Once you are thorough with the topics, then you will start accumulating datas and the other things. This all comes when you practice answer writing.
Pathi Bharat, he is asking that to get an idea to whether choose a geography as an optional, is NCERT 11, 12th at GC Leong enough or any other suggestion? See, for the evaluating your inclination in towards geography, your GS understanding itself is sufficient. When you are preparing for GS, whether you are finding yourself interested in the subject or not, anyway you are going to prepare geography topics in your GS, whether you are going to opt for geography or not. आपको geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, you are going to prepare to some extent. When you are listening to these classes, when you are reading this thing, if you are finding yourself interested towards this topic, then you can obviously consider geography as a potential optional for you.
Abhinav Bhattacharya, sir, I'm getting mixed signals. People are saying geography is huge, go for shorter, and you have to read too much book. See, as sir told you, that if you're selecting an option, the first criteria has to be your interest area in that particular subject. Okay, there's no point of taking a subject which you may find with a short syllabus, but you don't find interest in that subject. Moreover, if you read it logically, then it is not as lengthy as you think it is.
So Bhattacharya Saab, the issue is here as I told you earlier also, if you are interested in the subject, the longer will appear shorter. If you are not interested, the shorter will become lengthy. It is something like you are traveling with the person whom you are interested with. तो लंबा जर्नी भी आपको छोटा दिखेगा, है ना. इसी तरह की बात है. अगर आप इंटरेस्ट लेते हो सब्जेक्ट में, तो आपका एक इनबिल्ट क्यूरियोसिटी होगा टू लर्न, and that will help you to move easily and sail from one topic to other. अगर आप interested ही नहीं हो, and whatever may be the shorter length of the subject, you feel it burdening, that you will feel it stressful. Current affairs.
See, you will have to prepare the current affairs by reading the newspapers. Monthly magazines are also available. And looking at the questions, you will have to integrate with the answers. But there's no separate preparation for current affairs that is required as such. If you're doing a topic in the class, we'll be dealing the current affairs within the class itself related to that particular topic.
Muhammad Wasim is asking, do I need to complete one topic at once, like first geomorphology completely and then switch to climatology and furthermore? Yes, obviously you have to do chapter wise, है ना. तो आप साथ में सब कुछ लेकर चलेंगे, then it will be very difficult to again restructure or organize the things. So do it how it is there. But what you can do is, within geomorphology you can design your own syllabus, as I told you. Okay? Inside geomorphology you can segregate, but try to finish that chapter, then move to climatology, and you can sequence according to your liking also. So some students like climatology, so you can start with climatology first and then do geomorphology. That will not be an issue.
Faisal, as sir told you, there will be three teachers here. Rizwan sir for major part of paper 1, Vaishali ma'am for biogeography and the environment, and I'll be taking a good part of paper 2. It is, Avinash, to be done through practice. You'll have to mark it in the atlas. You'll have to practice it on a physical map of India as well.
Akshit is asking, confused between anthro and geo, all parameters of selecting coming as same. See, look at your interest, है ना? So the most important thing is how the parameters, what kind of parameters you are looking at. Just go through that once again, and थोड़ा तो फर्क होगा, इंटरेस्ट में फर्क होता है. Our inclination towards two individuals will not be same. Even with our siblings, we don't have a similar inclination. How it can be with the subject then? थोड़ा बहुत फर्क होगा, वो आप आइडेंटिफाई करिए.
Just look at the question, Mohammed Tausif, if you are able to get some fair idea about, not attempting the question, but just getting an idea whether you are able to get a sense of the question that the examiner has asked.
Somebody is asking, I am from engineering background and will it be more convenient? See, one thing about optional subject, Kushal Pal is asking this. तो इसमें अगर आप इंजीनियरिंग या कोई भी इस तरह टेक्निकल बैकग्राउंड से है, there is a little bit more compatibility with the geography, because geography is not purely humanities. It is more a logical and it is like a technical and semi-scientific सब्जेक्ट. हर जगह पर ज्योग्राफी में ये क्वेश्चन होता है कि व्हाई, हाउ, वेयर, राइट? So for that reason, if you are coming from any kind of professional technical background, understanding the subject will be easy for you. Remaining, it is your take.
नीचे करिए एक बार. Too much complex geography option does. The UPSC itself is a very tough competition, Shobhit Tomar. And again, if you're choosing any optional, just spend some time with this process. You need to be very careful about choosing any optional that you're doing, be it geography, be it any other option, because it is going to decide your future in this particular examination. Take it. But the second part of your question, that number of marks that a person gets depending upon the number of people who are taking that option, this is incorrect information. Shobhit. ये तो आंसर कर दिया था.
Siddhant is asking, what approach and strategy? I told you, most of the things have been discussed in this. Just, I think you joined late. So just go through this webinar. You will be getting some more information. But more or less, one thing you should be understanding about the subject is, आपको इसमें systematically approach करना है. Geography cannot be approached randomly. Be clear in your mind. आप जब तक ये subject को systematically नहीं पढ़ेंगे, the subject will not fetch you. You cannot do it like whatever you want, or if you follow the norms of the subject, you play according to the rules of the game, you will be successful here. Bhattacharya Saab, again, he's asking that up to Köppen's classification, he was fine. Because see, you are feeling comfortable up to Köppen, reason being more of this climatology up to Köppen is a part of GS, right? Köppen से optional start होता है. Köppen, Thornwhite, त्रिवार था, and applied climatology. This is where the optional is, and there are methods to study this. ऐसा नहीं कि वो उतना difficult नहीं है. अगर आप उसको थोड़ा सा logically समझेंगे तो वो आसान हो जाएगा. There is no issue in Copen is not a big thing.
Mahesh, no, it is always okay to start whenever you feel comfortable, but the sooner you start, better it is. But 2 months won't make much of a difference. It depends on your comfort zone in that case. Long back, I was also taking very few lectures then, Vikrant. Mind up with this?
So I hope that we have answered most of the doubts and queries. Still, the first 1 or 2 sessions will be having kind of interaction where I'll try to tell you how to further prepare more and in detail in this geography as an optional. We are starting a batch on 22nd of April. Timing of batch is 2:30 to 5, and the duration will be for 5 months. So 5 to 5.5. Remaining will be providing, as you are aware, handout, printed material. There will be test along with your classes after every chapter, answer writing practice. This is more or less a part of your course itself. So you need not worry about all those things when you are in the classes, right? So thank you and all the best.
Thank you very much.